Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44. Got about 15 minutes to talk, and it's pretty solid sports themed conversation about boxing, particularly the Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson extravaganza coming up. Both of them are coming out of retirement to fight in um, a lesser round fight, I guess you can say, than what we're used to. No 10, no 12, no 15. So I think they're going to do like 8 or something like that, but don't quote me on that. But I know it's going to be lesser rounds. It was just announced that Roy Jones Jr. and Mike are going to postpone this thing. I think Mike's side is basically saying that they can gain more revenue if they postpone it and promote it a little better. My opinion is Mike is probably doing Roy a solid and giving him more time to train, because if you've seen Mike Tyson lately, he looks like he's been just completely in shape the entire time. He looks like he never actually got out of shape. That's how he looks right now. 2020 Mike Tyson looks like he could probably give 2000 Mike Tyson a run for his money. Like, that's how he looks right now. He looks incredibly in shape. I've seen him before he even started training for this in some footage about 3 years ago when he was just showing a guy how to kind of twist and move and all of that. It looked like a Starbucks or something they were standing in. Mike wasn't even in shape. He looked amazing then. He looked like he could kill me with his bare hands even then, way before he even started this process. So now that he's in shape again, I look at him as just the same guy that was in the 80s knocking people out in 3 seconds. His genetics and his skill set and his talent is going to make it so that Roy Jones is going to have a very, very difficult time standing upright for any length of time. I don't think this thing goes 2 rounds. I really don't. And I got a lot of respect for Roy Jones Jr.'s game. He's one of the legends. He's an all-time legend. I watched him in his heyday, so I know what he can do, and I know that if he's right, anybody can get their butts knocked out by him as well. But he's further removed from the game, and I think without looking at him, he's more traditionally built in terms of he's an older guy now. He's in his 50s, and he's not gonna be able to do what essentially Mike Tyson's gonna be able to do in that ring. And I think that there's no one more aware of that than Roy, unfortunately. I just don't think that this is smart on Roy's part. I really don't. I wouldn't have ever wanted him to fight Mike Tyson. Not in his heyday, not now, not when they were children. There's no point in time do I think that Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson should ever be in the same ring together. I really don't. And Mike Tyson is a knockout artist extraordinaire of the highest order. He is someone who has an inner beast inside of him that's just stronger than most humans and will overcome you with his physical ability rather quickly. He's historically really, 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 really consistent in that way. And at 50 years old, with him not having a shred of body fat, it seems at this point, I don't know what Roy's going to do. I don't think Roy has a shot in hell. And I think most people agree with me. I don't like his chances, and at his age, I don't want him fighting nobody like Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? I don't want him fighting anybody at all, to be honest. Like, Roy is, like I said, more traditional 50-year-old at this point. If you're gonna fight somebody 50 years old who's not Mike Tyson, somebody else, anybody else. I'd rather see him get in the ring with Sugar Ray Leonard or somebody else, bro. Not Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a different genetic species. That's like 20 years from now, Kevin Durant saying he want to get on the floor with LeBron James. Like, if LeBron James trains 20 years from now, he could still be incredibly more athletic than the average human being his age. As to where maybe Kevin Durant probably going to be more traditional, probably slow down. 50 years old, probably don't want to see him out there on the court. LeBron James, I can guarantee you LeBron James, even though he's probably not going to be playing NBA basketball, he's probably still going to be tearing up rec centers at 50. I'm almost positive of it. So, yeah. I look at Mike and LeBron in that same tier of athleticism and genetics. You just don't mess with people who are different like that if they're in shape. Even when they're out of shape, you leave them alone. But when they're in shape, you don't do that. So, yeah, that's my opinion of this fight. I'm worried, legitimately worried. And I also have watched Hot Box a couple of times. It's a fantastic podcast that Mike Tyson and his boy, I can't think of his name, but I could see his face. Forgive me. That they've put together, and it's amazing. I say I've seen it a few times, and that's to my own detriment. I would suggest everybody watch as much of it as possible. It's just really, really good, really good. Mike Tyson's very, very self-aware, very, very in tune of what he's overcome, and the way he spoke about fighting makes me worried for his mental health going forward after this fight. It was a demon that he had inside of him that he spoke of that made it so that every time he fought, it came out in such a way that ended up eating him up inside. It made him feel like he wasn't human. It made him feel like an animal. It made him feel like he hated himself for fighting. He hated it was deep self-loathing and fear that he felt when he fought, and it kind of propelled him to the success that he had. He felt like he gained confidence and power and strength and self-confidence from knocking people out. And that was when he felt his best. And then when he would do so, he would absorb all of the praise that came with it, and it would turn him into a narcissistic, basically horrible individual inside. And he said that he suffered with those battles constantly as a fighter, and it took him a long way to get away from that, but he still feels that inside of him, that demon inside of him, he still feels it is still there to this very second. And my thing is, well, brother, you probably shouldn't be picking up any boxing gloves at this point. I know you've healed quite a bit, and I don't doubt that you're a different person, but once it's just like being an addict to something. Once you're an addict, always an addict. You don't ever, ever, ever pick up another glass if you're an alcoholic, if you're serious about trying to really live a sober life. And I don't think that this is much different for Mike Tyson. Picking up those gloves is probably like relapsing. So for that, I am very, very concerned for Mike Tyson. But at the same time, it is good to see him in fantastic shape. There was a time where he looked so far out of shape that I was worried about his health, and now he looks like Mike Tyson. He looks like an athletic person that would do a lot of damage to any soul that stands in front of him. So at this point, for me, I'm just like, yo, leave Mike Tyson alone. You need to be. I would rather Mike Tyson, and I know this is going to sound a little strange, but for Mike Tyson and Roy, I would prefer Mike Tyson fight somebody who's younger, ready to go, than I would rather see Roy fight Mike Tyson, if that makes any sense. Like, I would rather see Mike Tyson fight Wilder now than see Roy fight Tyson now. Like, even though I don't love either of those situations for those individuals, I like this even less for Roy because of his age and because of the shape that Mike is finding himself in right now. So take that for what it's worth. No, I do not want to see Wilder fight Tyson. I don't like that at all. I'm just saying which I would prefer if I had to have something happen. But nevertheless, I will be watching this fight, and I'm not expecting it to last long. When I watch a Tyson fight, I learned as a kid, if you're watching a Tyson fight, you had better get there early. If you're going to the Tyson fight, you had better be in your seat before the bell rings, because if you're not, you're going to miss the fight. This is not a situation where you have to say, oh, well, I can't come in this second, third round. Ain't going to be no second and third rounds. It's a Tyson fight. You catch him in the first 3 punches or you miss the fight. And so because I understood that, I look at this the same way. To be honest with you, I don't see this any different. Mike Tyson is a knockout artist. He's going to come in, he's going to punch a couple times, Roy's going to go down, the bell's going to ring, and the fight's going to be over. It's like, if anything more than that, I will be very pleased to see, because I'm not expecting nothing more than that. But, yeah, they're going to postpone it. They didn't say when, how long they're going to postpone it, but from what I understand, it's going to be for marketing purposes, monetary purposes, try to extend more commercials and stuff like that and promotion for us to kind of get on board and get excited about. So I think it's smart in every way possible. It'll give everybody more time to train and everybody a chance to really consider if they really want to do this or how they want to play it when they get in the ring. Again, even if you have an agreement with Mike, there's still no guarantee that he's not going to have that demon come out and just try to tear your face off with his bare hands, or with his gloves, I should say. There's no guarantee. But I'm hopeful. I am very, very hopeful that everybody's healthy at the end of this fight. The guys can walk away from this thing and do right. I don't know if the money's going to charity, but I would like to see the money go to charity. I think both of those guys are wealthy enough to where they don't really need to do this, but who knows? I'm not in nobody's pockets. What do I know? But I would love to see them raise money for a cause of some sort or something like that. I think that would be really honorable. And yeah, that's what I got, you guys. Hope you're enjoying your day or your night or whenever you're watching this. My name is BDF44, or just BDF, and I'm out. Peace.